Hello, Internet. So today I figure crack open the Legendary Decks 2 set, take a look at the 3 decks within, and just give my general thoughts. Now, I've heard it said that this is supposed to be based off of the Duelist City decks that each of them had. Doesn't say on the box itself. I mean, as far as what Kaiba and Joey is going to run, or their decks are going to be, Kaiba's should have the 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, should have the Ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon, Vorse Raider, Crush Card Virus, Shrink, Ring of Destruction. I mean, I know in the later arcs when he's surprised, that is like he's surprised, but he only runs the same handful of cards anyways. And then Joy, he's probably going to have Red Eyes Black Dragon, Jinzo, the Graceful Dice, and the other one that reduces the enemy's attack. And then Yugi. Yugi has had so many, and the first thing I'm seeing is a tuner card. Okay, this is going to be very interesting. I'm guessing this is Yugi's deck in the middle. I had heard or seen some things were saying that his deck had the 3 god cards in it. Some of them were saying that it was in this little promo pack. So what is in this promo pack then? But Yugi, I mean, Yugi's deck, depending on which arc you're looking at, he might have the Exodia in here. He has the god, at least one of the god cards. Probably has all 3 in here. So we have Dark Burning Attack. If you control a Dark Magician Girl, destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Oh, that's not bad support for her. Dark Burning Magic. If you control monsters whose original names are Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, destroy all cards your opponent controls. So it's like Dark Burning Attack, but hits spell cards. Oh, it's a quick spell at least. But it requires both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. And Eternal Soul. Continuous Trap. Every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control. You can only use the following effects once per turn. You can activate one of these effects. You can special summon one Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, and you can add 1 Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives. Yeah, so I mean, it's good support for the Dark Magician archetype. So I'm assuming this is going to be Joey's because it's the Blackstone Legend, which is for the black. Oh, Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Yeah, so this will be Kaiba's for sure then. So, Maiden with Eyes of Blue. When this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change the battle position of this card. Then you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. That's very nice. I'm guessing the tuner is for over and above what she has, and probably... oh yeah, no, there is a synchro in here as well. Okay. The Melody of Awakening Dragon. Discard 1 card, add up to 2 dragon-type monsters with 3,000 attack or more. Yeah, you can add up to 2 Blue Eyes or... and 2,500 left. Can't think of too many other dragons that fall into that very specific criteria. We have the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. 1, 2, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, and I do like that they give the different artwork. A little sad that we don't have the Shonen Jump one where he had the Earth in the background. That one I liked. Dragon Spirit of White. it's always treated as a Blue Eyes card. Treated as a normal monster while in the hand or graveyard. Oh, that's not bad. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, banish it. During either player's turn, if your opponent controls a monster, you contribute this card to special summon one Blue Eyes from your hand. Shameless Self-Promotion Man. Tribute this card, special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. The White Stone of Legend. If it's sent to the graveyard, add one Blue Eyes Dragon from your deck to your hand, so that's not too bad. White Stone of Ancients. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of the White Stone of Ancients once per turn. Protector with Eyes of Blue. While this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 1 Light Tuner monster from your hand. You can target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So I'm noticing a lot of not only stuff that brings out the Blue Eyes White Dragon, but also, where is she? Like Maiden. Yeah, when a card effect is activated that targets this face-up card, you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You know, so I mean, you could bring him out, or play him, bring her out with his effect, and then target her, send her to the graveyard, special summon a Blue Eyes card in your hand, and pull out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So I mean, that's not too bad for getting stuff out quickly. Master with Eyes of Blue. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one level 1 Light Tuner monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck, then target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard, other than the sent monster. You can only use this effect once per turn. Oh, Battleox, that was the other one I was forgetting that he did quite a bit. Lejin, I know he used this one more in Duelist Kingdom and the manga, so the Season 0 arc. Vorse Raider. Alexandrite Dragon. I don't remember him ever playing this, but I mean, it's a 2000 attack, 4-star dragon. Level 4 dragon. Blade Knight. When you have one or less cards in your hand, it gains 400 attack. If you control no other monsters, the effects of flip monsters destroyed by battle with this card are negated. I mean, he has two good effects. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how often you'll have both effects going at the same time. Ancient Lamp. During your main phase, you can special summon Legend, the mystical genie of the lamp, from your hand. Must be face up on the field to activate and resolve the effect. Before damage calculation, if it was being attacked by an opponent's monster and was sent face down at the start of the damage step, target one monster your opponent controls. The attacking monster attacks it instead. I mean, it's got some decent built-in protection. Tiger Dragon. When it's tribute summoned by tributing a dragon-type monster, you can target up to 2 face-down spell traps your opponent controls, destroy those targets. I mean, that's not too shabby. Kid Moto Dragon. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one dragon-type monster from your hand. You cannot special summon monsters except dragon-type monsters, nor conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. You can only use the effect once per turn. Like, it's not a bad effect. The only problem is that you can't do your battle phase, so you can't intentionally play him, attack into something, and, you know, drop a Blue Eyes or what have you. King of the Swamp. Substitute this card for any one fusion material monster, but the fusion material monsters other ones must be correct. You can discard this card to the graveyard, add one polymerization from your deck to your hand. I mean, it's not bad support for polymerization, for fusion summons. Rider of the Storm Winds. Target one dragon-type normal monster you control. Equip this monster from your hand or field to that target. If a monster equipped with this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. If a monster equipped with this card would be destroyed, destroy this card instead. So he gives more support for your Blue Eyes, or I guess you could also use them with Red Eyes or any of the other big dragons. Burst Stream of Destruction. If you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Blue Eyes White Dragon cannot attack the turn you activate this card. Beacon of White. If you do not control another one and you have 3 or more Blue Eyes monsters in your graveyard, target one of them. Special summon it, but it has its effects negated. Also equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, banish the equipped monster. Other monsters you control cannot attack, and if you have any number of Blue Eyes monsters in your graveyard, the equipped monster can attack up to that number of times during each battle phase. Like, it doesn't seem to be too bad overall. I mean, obviously you probably wouldn't use this to bring out one of your well, no, those are Eyes of Blue, not Blue Eyes. So you wouldn't be able to target the tuners anyways, but, you know, I mean, oh, it negates its effect, but I mean, if you're bringing out Blue Eyes White Dragon, well, you're bringing out Blue Eyes White Dragon, it doesn't have any effect. Mausoleum of White. During your main phase, you can normal summon one level 1 light tuner monster in addition to your normal summon / set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster you control, send one normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 100 until the end of this turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Burst Stream Destruction from your deck to your hand. So, I mean, that seems like fairly decent support for the Blue Eyes decks. We have Polymerization. Enemy Controller. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change that target's battle position, or gain control of a face-up monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. Shrink. Decreases the attack by half. Not really much more to say than that. I mean, he uses it all the time on his own monsters for Crush Card Virus. Target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it in face-up defense position, but it can't attack. I mean, it's good if you need either a wall or just need want to bring out your tuners or what have you. Ancient Rules, special summon one level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand. You know, I mean, it almost, I mean, that's almost a Blue Eyes White Dragon on it. It's basically, hey, play this card. Trade-in, discard one level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. I mean, not too bad considering how much support there is for bringing Blue Eyes back from the graveyard in here. Where Art Thou? If you control a face-up level 1 monster, add 1 level monster from your deck to your hand. During the end phase of this turn, take 2,000 damage if you did not normal summon the added monster or a card with the same name after activating this card. So, yeah, I mean, it's not too bad if you're wanting to bring out your Eyes of Blue support. Pot of Dichotomy. Yeah, I know I probably just said that wrong. At the start of your main phase, target 3 monsters with different types in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. I mean, downside is that you're having to shuffle the monsters from your discard, but plus side, I mean, it's drawing you 2 cards, so. Fusion Substitute. It's always treated as Polymerization. Fusion, summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion material. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 fusion monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, then draw 1 card. I mean, the only real downside to it is that I'm pretty sure because it's always treated as Polymerization, you can't have 3 polymerizations and 3 fusion substitutes. They're both considered polymerization for deck building. Unexpected Die. If you control no monster, special summon 1 level 4 normal monster from the deck. I mean, it lets you special summon from the deck. Not really much more to say other than that. It's a fairly solid card. Negate Attack. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, negate the attack and the battle phase. Final attack order. All face-up monsters on the field are changed to attack position, and their battle positions cannot be changed. So, you know, good if you want to, if your opponent has a bunch of high defense, low attack monsters and you just want to stomp all over them. Shadow Spell. Activate this card by targeting one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 700 attack, and it cannot attack or change its battle position. When it leaves play, destroy the card. So just a good way of stopping your opponent's, lowering their attack enough that you can remove problem cards. When your opponent normal or flip summons a monster that has a level, target that face-up monster, special summon one clone token with the same original type, attribute, level, attack, and defense as that target. When that target is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, destroy this token. Yeah, so it doesn't copy effects, but yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it gives you a free token. Yeah, I mean, you can still... yeah, it doesn't say you can't tribute them either, so... Yeah. Fusion Reserve. Reveal one fusion monster in your extra deck. Add one of the fusion materials listed on the card from your deck to your hand. Then you can add one polymerization from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, I'm pretty sure the only one that's in here is... oh no, there's another one, but it just says 2 normal monsters. So I'm not sure how that works with this one, but... yeah, I mean, Ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon. There's 3 blue eyes in here. Yeah. Jar of Avarice. Target 5 cards in your graveyard except Jar of Avarice. Shuffle all 5 into the deck. Draw 1 card. You can only activate 1 jar per turn. So I mean, not bad if you have a bunch of stuff that targets stuff in your deck and they're all in the graveyard. So Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner. If this card is special summoned, dragon-type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. So I mean, it seems like a fairly solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I mean, it's 9-star. You probably have to use a... you're probably going to end up using blue eyes to bring him out. But, I mean, you can just immediately bring the blue eyes, or, well, it's during the standby phase, so it'd be the next turn. So as long as he survives 1 turn, you're going to be bringing it back anyways. And First of the Dragons. 2 normal monsters, must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. You can only control 1 First of the Dragons. This card cannot be destroyed by battle except by battle with a normal monster, and is unaffected by other monsters' effects. So it's a 9-star monster with lower attack than the Blue Eyes White Dragons, and can be destroyed by Blue Eyes White Dragons. So that was the Kaiba themed deck, which, I mean, it seems very solid. And I have a feeling a lot of the Joey deck is probably going to be the same way with a lot of Red Eyes Black Dragon support, so... Which is weird, because overall, I know he used it a fair bit in Duelist Kingdom and Battle City, but the later arcs, I don't remember him playing Red Eyes Black Dragon that much. So we have the Blackstone of Legend. Tribute this card, special summon 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck except Red Eyes Black Chick. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard except Red Eyes Black Chick. Shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, add this card to your hand. So, yeah, decent at cycling itself through. Return of the Red Eyes. If you control a Red Eyes monster except Red Eyes Black Chick, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If this card is in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can target 1 Red Eyes monster in your graveyard except Red Eyes Black Chick, special summon it. Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like solid Red Eyes Black Dragon support. Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Requires 2 level 7 monsters. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz material. While this card has Xyz material, each time your opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz monster from this card, then target 1 Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon it. I'm going to have to take a look to see if when you detach the material for its effect, does it go to the graveyard and then you can target it? Because if so, that seems like it would be quite good with Red Eyes Black Dragon then. We have the Red Eyes Black Dragon himself. Black Flare Dragon. It's treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. While this card is normal monster on the field, you can normal summon it to have again the following effects. If damage calculation is performed involving this card at the end of the battle phase, inflict damage equal to your opponent equal to this card's original attack. You can only use the effect once per turn. So, I'm not the biggest fan of the Gemini monsters because you do have to summon them twice unless you have... I do know that they have newer support that bypasses that and lets you just summon them as the effect monster straight up, but not that big of a fan of the Gemini cards by themselves. Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning. So, same thing. Have to normal summon him once he's on the field. Once per turn, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with defense lower than this card's attack. So that's actually a nice ability. That one I could see being justifying having to summon him again, because that's just straight up, 2,500 attack, pretty solid. I don't think there's too much that has higher defense than that by default. Red Eyes Retro Dragon. If a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster you control except a Red Eyes Black Chick is destroyed by your opponent's attack or card effect and sent to your graveyard, while this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, special summon as many of those destroyed monsters as possible in the same position they were in when destroyed. You can tribute this card. You can normal summon one Red Eyes monster during your main phase this turn, except Red Eyes Black Chick, in addition to your normal summon and set. You only get this effect once per turn. So much hate for the Red Eyes Black Chick, apparently. Or, I guess no love for it. Black Metal Dragon. Target one Red Eyes monster you control except Red Eyes Black Chick. Equip this monster from your hand or field to that card to gain 600 attack. And if the card would be sent from the field, you can add one Red Eyes card from your deck except Red Eyes Chick. We have the Axe Raider. Alligator Sword. Baby Dragon. Wonder if there's going to be Time Wizard in here as well. Jinzo. Negate all attacks while he's face up. Goblin Attack Force. When you attack with him, switch him to defense position. He can't stand up until your second turn following the attack. Yeah, battle position cannot be changed until the end phase of your next turn. Gearfried the Iron Knight. Destroy equip cards equipped to him. Rocket Warrior. During your battle phase, this card cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. If this card attacks a monster after damage calculation, that attack target loses 500 attack until the end of this turn. So, I mean, decent for lowering the attack if you're wanting to actually punch through things, but because you don't take any damage from his effect. Yeah, you take no battle damage, and he cannot be destroyed when he's attacking. Blue Flame Swordsman. Once per turn, during either player's battle phase, you can target one other warrior-type monster you control. This card loses exactly 600 attack, and if it does, that monster gains 600 attack. When this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one fire warrior-type monster in your graveyard to special summon that target. So, I mean, it's not a bad effect if you're running warriors and you have some way of protecting him until he's fully depleted his attack. And it's understandable that it's only once per turn. So, I mean, it's pretty decent. I do wish that the regular Flame Swordsman wasn't a fusion, it was just a regular summon. Time Wizard. Once per turn, flip a coin. If you call it right, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. If you call it wrong, destroy all of the monsters you control and take half the total attack. Phoenix Gearfried. It's treated as a normal monster. You can summon it again to have it become an effect monster. If your opponent activates a spell card, you can target one Gemini monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. During either player's turn, when a spell or trap card is activated that targets a monster on the field, you can send one face-up equip card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So all of his effects rely on your opponent doing stuff, and I'm not sure... I'm just not that big a fan of him. Gemini Summoner. Once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you can pay 500 life points. Normal Summoner, set one Gemini monster from your hand, or normal summon one face-up Gemini monster you control. The first time this would be destroyed by battle, each turn it is not destroyed. The problem I have with this one, you have to pay 500 life points for it. And that's... I mean, I guess it's fine. At least it lets you get your Geminis out, but I have seen other ones where it's literally just a spell card that you can special summon a Gemini card from your hand. If you do, treat it as the effect monster with its printed text. Blazewing Butterfly is treated as a normal monster. Yeah, it's the same. So you contribute this card and the target one Gemini monster in your graveyard except Blazewing Butterfly. Special summon that target. And if you do, it becomes an effect monster and gains its effect. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I actually like for the Gemini monsters. Like, some of them have really good effects, but some of them, not so much. Case in point, Dark Valkyria. Once while this card is face up on the field, you can place one spell counter on it. It gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it. You can remove one spell counter from this card, then target one monster on the field, destroy that target. So on the one hand, I mean, the turn that you play her, she can either become a 2100 attack beatstick or just destroy a monster on the field. But on the other hand, you have to play her, then normal summon her before you can use her effect. I mean, it's decent attack at least, but Command Knight. All warrior type monsters you control gain 400 attack. If you control another monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target this card for an attack. So, I mean, good bonus for warriors. She protects herself as long as you have at least one other warrior. Valkyrian Knight. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target face-up warrior type monsters for attacks except Valkyrian Knight. While this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can banish one warrior type monster and this card from your graveyard. Then target one level 5 or higher warrior type monster in your graveyard, special summon that card. So, I mean, it's not a bad recursion effect. And Keeper of the Shrine. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dragon type monster. While it's in your hand or graveyard, if a face-up dragon type monster on the field except Keeper of the Shrine is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, or because it was destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card. Then, if that monster is sent to the graveyard as a normal monster, you can add one dragon-type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. Once in your hand or graveyard, face up field, except Keeper of the Shrine. Yeah, I mean, he pulls himself out of the graveyard, which is good. And then you can just use them for tributing the bigger dragons. Inferno Fire Blast. Target one face-up Red Eyes Black Dragon you control. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Red Eyes Black Dragon cannot attack the turn you activate this card. So it's like the Burst Stream Blast, except it doesn't clear the field, it just deals damage directly. Which, I mean, that's still 2400 attack minimum normally. Yeah, original attack. Fusion summon one fusion monster that lists a Red Eyes monster as material from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion materials. I do like that you can pull from the deck as well for that. And if you do, its name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon. You cannot normal or special summon other monsters this turn you activate this card. You can only activate one Red Eyes fusion per turn. Cards of the Red Stone. Send one level 7 Red Eyes monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. Then you can send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate it once per turn. Polymerization. Salamandra. Equipped to a fire monster, gain 700 attack. I mean, it's not bad. Scapegoat. Special summon 4 sheep tokens. They cannot be tributed. Foolish Burial is stupidly good. Send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. Roulette Spider. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, roll a 6-sided dice and apply the result. Have your life points. Make the attack a direct attack. Choose 1 monster you control. Change the attack target to it and perform damage calculation. Choose 1 other monster your opponent controls. Change the attack target to it and perform damage calculation. Negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack, or destroy that opponent's monster. So, I mean, it's 50-50 chance of either something good or bad happening, depending on whose perspective you're looking at it from. Supervise. Equipped only to a Gemini monster, it becomes an effect monster and gains its effects. And if its face-up card is sent from the field to the graveyards, target 1 normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Yeah, so this is one of the ones I was talking about where it's like you're still jumping, like you're still looking at 2 cards in order to get, an effect monster. But Mystical Space Typhoon. Target 1 spell or trap on the field, destroy it. Symbols of Duty. Send 1 normal monster you control to the graveyard, then target 1 monster in either player's graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, equip this card to it. When this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. Huh. So it's a bit more hoops than Monster Reborn, but that's still not too bad. Red Eyes Spirit. Target 1 Red Eyes monster in your graveyard except Red Eyes Black Chick. Special summon it. Kunai with Chain. Activate 1 or both of these effects. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, change it to defense position, or target 1 face-up monster you control. It gains 500 attack. And equip this card to it. Call of the Haunted. Choose target a monster in your graveyard, special summon it, attach this to it. When this card is destroyed, when that target is destroyed, destroy this card. Torrential Tribute. When a monster is summoned, destroy all monsters on the field. Burst Breath. Tribute 1 Dragon-type monster. Destroy all face-up monsters on the field whose defense is less than or equal to the attack of the tributed monster had on the field. Like, on the one hand, you're having to tribute the dragon, but, I mean, there's enough things that bring it back right away. Curse of Anubis. Change all effect monsters on the field to defense position. Until the end of this turn, the original defense of those monsters becomes 0. Also, their battle positions cannot be changed. Now, I'm kind of curious as to how often effect monsters get played over normal monsters, because this seems like it could be quite powerful. Arcfiend Black Skull Dragon. Acquires an Arcfiend as well as a Red Eyes normal monster. You can only special summon it once per turn. If this card battles, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. If damage calculation is performed involving this fusion summon card at the end of the battle phase, you can target 1 Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack into the graveyard, then shuffle it into the deck. I mean, that's downside requires level 6 Arcfiend monster. But, I mean, it's not a bad effect for what you're getting. Alligator Sword Dragon. It can attack your opponent directly if they only have earth, water, or fire monsters. So, probably not worth it. I mean, how often are they going to have specifically earth, water, or fire? So that was Joey's. Overall, kind of interesting how he has both the warrior archetype as well as the Red Eyes and Gemini, but I mean that's sort of in both Like, he has Gemini cards, but he's not running a Gemini archetype, if that makes sense. And let's see what's in Yugi's. So we have Slifer the Sky Dragon. It requires 3 tributes to normal summon, cannot be normal set. Normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summoned, cards and effects cannot be activated. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, send it to the graveyard. Gains 1000 attack and defense for each card in your hand, and if a monster is normal or special summoned to your opponent's side of the field in face-up attack position, it loses 2000 attack, and if it's at 0 or less, it is destroyed. We have Obelisk the Tormentor. Requires 3 tributes. Cannot be normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summon, cards and effects cannot be activated. Cannot be targeted by spells, traps, or card effects. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, send it to the graveyard. You contribute 2 monsters, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Cannot declare an attack the turn this effect is activated. So, I mean, clearing your opponent's field for if you have I'm trying to think what tokens Yugi or Yami has used. Can't think of any off the top of my head. But I mean, you contribute tokens for that effect, or Songun, or Witch of the Black Forest, or what have you. Winged Dragon of Ra. Cannot be special summoned. Requires 3 tributes to normal summon, cannot be normal set. Normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summon, other cards and effects cannot be activated. When this card is normal summoned, you can pay life points so that you only have 100 left. Gains attack and defense equal to the amount of life points paid. And you can pay 1000 life points. Target 1 monster on the field, destroy that target. Not sure how often I would use it for his first ability. The paying life points until you only have 100 left. I think if I ever did run him seriously, I'd probably be using him for the pay 1000 life points, destroy a monster on the field. The legendary Exodia Incarnate. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by attributing 1 Forbidden 1 monster, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Gains 1000 attack for each Forbidden 1 monster in your graveyard, unaffected by other card effects. Once per turn during your end phase, add 1 Forbidden monster card from your graveyard to your hand. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can reveal any number of Forbidden 1 monsters from your hand, and if you do, draw 1 card for each. I'm honestly not sure how I feel about him. Because on the one hand, he seems like he wants to part of it is, I believe you can only have 1 copy each of the limbs and torso for Exodia. So I mean, best case scenario, he'd be a 5000 attack, 5000 attack. I imagine the best case scenario for him would be you play 1 limb, special summon him out. End of the turn, you return the limb to your hand. Intentionally well, it has to be destroyed by battle. So you have to have you'd have to intentionally attack into something with him, and then just draw up and hope you get the rest of Exodia with him. Ties of the Brethren. Pay 2000 life points. Target 1 level 4 or lower monster you control. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. Also special summon 2 monsters from your deck with the same... Oh, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon. Okay, I was about to say, does this card not work as printed? Also special summon 2 monsters from your deck with the same type, attribute, and level as that monster, but with different names. Yeah, so I mean, you could use it to bring out Alpha, Beta, Gamma. Yeah, it's just says level 4 or lower monster. The gadgets you'd probably be able to use this with. Trying to think of what else you'd be wanting multiple, like, it lets you swarm fairly easily. Obliterate. You can target one monster on the field, send one Forbidden One monster or Exodia card from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, return that target to your hand. You can target one monster on the field, send one Forbidden One monster or Exodia card from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, return that target to the hand. Okay. I was reading as to your hand for some reason. If this card is sent from the field and spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can target one Forbidden monster or Exodia card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use one Obliterate effect per turn and only once that turn. So, I mean, decent enough for bouncing your opponent's monsters back and getting your filling up the graveyard for the other Exodia. Then we have Exodia, right arm, right leg, left leg. Exodia Necros. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with contract with Exodia, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be destroyed by battle or spell or trap cards. Once per turn during your standby phase, this card gains 500 attack. Huh. Destroy this card unless all 5 of these cards are in your graveyard. Exodia, right arm, right leg, left leg. That's, huh. I mean, it sucks that you have to have all 5 pieces of Exodia, because I know there's a fair amount of ways of removing things in the graveyard now, it seems. Dark Magician Girl, gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in the graveyard, in either player's graveyard. Buster Blader, 500 attack for every Dragon-type monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. Silent Magician level 8. So this is both Yami Yugi and regular Yugi's monsters. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by Silent Magician level 4, and cannot be special summoned by other ways, unaffected by your opponent's spell cards. Silent Magician level 4. Each time your opponent draws a card, place a spell counter on it, max 5, gains 500 attack for each spell counter. During standby phase of your next turn, after the 5th spell counter is placed on it, you can send it face up with 5 spell counters to the graveyard, special summon one Silent Magician level 8. Yeah, I mean, it's alright. If you have some way of protecting it, Sword of Light, or negate attack, or what have you. I mean, it's decent enough for, as long as you can protect it for one turn from your opponent. I mean, it's going to be at 200 or 2,000, and, not too shabby. The Tricky. Special summon this card from your hand by discarding 1 card. Big Shield Gardna. During either player's turn, when it's face down, is targeted by a spell card, change this card to face up defense position, and if you do, negate the spell card's activation. If it's attacked in defense position, switch it to attack position at the end of the damage step. Magician's Valkyria. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target face-up spellcaster monsters for attacks except this one. So, I think I would have to double check if there's something similar to, what was it, Marauding Captain? It's effect where if you have 2 Marauding Captains, your opponent cannot target any of your warriors because they would have to target a Marauding Captain, but there's another Marauding Captain on the field that says that they have to target him, so they would have to target the other one, but they would have to target the first one, and so they can't target anything. Blast Magician. Each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell card counter on this card. When that spell card resolves, you can resolve any number of spell counters from this card, then target 1 face-up monster on the field with attack less than or equal to the number of counters you remove times 700. Destroy that target. I mean, not bad if you're playing a spell heavy deck, and you can very quickly fill them up and blow up everything. We have Blockman. Tribute this card. Special summon in Earth and defense position a number of block tokens equal to the number of your turns this card has been face up on your field. These tokens cannot. Just a moment. Delivery person dropping off parcel. So we have Marshmallow. After damage calculation, if this card was attacked and was face down at the start of the damage step, the attacking player takes 1,000 damage. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Wonder if they also have the Marshmallow glasses so that they have to attack him. And Sangan. If you sent from the field to the graveyard, add one monster with 1,500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. You cannot activate cards or the effect of cards with that name for the rest of the turn. You can only use the effect of Sangan once per turn. Gold Sarcophagus. Banish one card from your deck face up. During your second standby phase after this card's activation, add that card to your hand. I mean, it's not bad if you're wanting, play it, pull a card out of your deck for 2 turns down the line. I mean, you're guaranteed to get it 2 turns later at least, rather than hoping that you draw it. Swords of Revealing Light. Play it. Your opponent can't attack you for 3 of their turns. Oh, and it turns face down defense monsters face up. Magical Dimension. If you control a spellcaster type monster, target one monster you control, tribute that target. Then special summon one spellcaster type monster from your hand, then you can destroy one monster on the field. Not quite sure how I feel about this. Like, it'd be good if you're running specifically a spellcaster deck, so. Magicians Unite. If you control 2 or more attack position spellcaster type monsters, target one of them. Its attack becomes 3,000 until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, other spellcaster type monsters you control cannot attack. Like, I mean, it's decent enough. I think generally, if you have the ability to just attack with both spellcasters, you'll be swinging for more damage. But, I mean, if your opponent has something with higher attack or defense, this at least lets you get over that. So, Tricky Spell 4. Send one face up the Tricky you control to the graveyard. Special summon Tricky tokens in defense position equal to the number of monsters your opponent controls. Tricky tokens cannot declare an attack. Yeah, I mean, it's good for getting either bodies out there for chump blocking or, tribute fodder. 1,000 Knives. If you control Dark Magician, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. I mean, it's just straight up destroy target monster if you control Dark Magician. Dark Magic Attack. If you control Dark Magician, destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Contract with Exodia. If you have all 5 of Exodia the Forbidden One, right arm, right leg, and left leg of the Forbidden One in your graveyard, special summon one Exodia Necros from your hand. So it's like a ritual card, but not quite as good. Like that is, you have to have all 5 pieces, plus you have to have this in your hand, or set it on the field, plus you have to have Exodia Necros. If it let you summon from the hand or deck, I'd be much more inclined to like this card. Messenger of Peace. Monster with 1,500 or more attack cannot declare an attack. Once per turn during your standby phase, pay 100 life points or destroy this card. Yeah, I mean, something like this, really good with Silent Magician level 4. I mean, your opponent draws 1 card, she's at 1,500 attack, and this will give her some protection. Dark Factory of Mass Production. Target 2 normal monsters in your graveyard, add those targets to your hand. Very good for getting your Exodia pieces back. Monster Reincarnation. Discard 1 card, then target 1 monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. I mean, once again, decent enough for getting the Exodia pieces back, or if you have something that Because it has to be... Oh no, it's just one monster for that one. So, I mean, it's decent enough. Secret Village of the Spellcasters. If you control a spellcaster type monster and your opponent does not, your opponent cannot activate spell cards. If you control no spellcaster type monsters, you cannot activate spell cards. So, very solid spellcaster support. Pot of Duality. Excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 of them to your hand, shuffle the rest back into your deck. You can only activate once per turn. You cannot special summon the turn you activate it. Mirror Force. Destroy all opponent. When your opponent declares an attack, destroy all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls. Magical Hats. During your opponent's phase, choose 2 spell or traps from your deck and 1 monster you control. Special summon them as normal monsters in face-down defense position. Set the chosen monster if it is in face-up, and shuffle them on the field. The 2 chosen cards from your deck are destroyed at the end of the battle phase and cannot remain on the field except during the battle phase. Magical Cylinder. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. Magician's Circle. When a spellcaster type monster declares an attack, each player special summons 1 spellcaster monster with 2,000 or less attack from their deck in attack position. Backup Soldier. When there are 5 or more monsters in your graveyard, target up to 3 non-effect monsters with 1,500 or less attack in your graveyard and add them to your hand. And Gravity Bind. Level 4 or higher monsters cannot attack. So overall, I'm honestly not sure how I feel about this one. Like, you have the 3 God cards, but I'm honestly not sure how much support there is in here for the 3 God cards. Like, both the Joey and Kaiba ones had a lot more things that would pull out cards or give you tokens or things like that. Whereas this one, I think the only real thing I saw in here, as far as special summoning went, was well, you have Magical Dimension, but that would still require you to tribute a monster, so it's Tricky Spell 4 would give you potentially more monsters. But a lot of it is returning stuff to your hand, which would be fine. Like, it's fine for Slifer, but the other 2... I think the other 2 would probably be better off in the other decks. But other than that, I mean, you've got spellcasters and a lot of support for spellcasters. And Exodia, and a decent amount of support for Exodia. And it's one of those things where I'm not sure how much support, like how much you'd be able to do a deck for Exodia specifically, just because the 5 pieces of Exodia are limited to 1 each. So it makes sense that you'd probably want to have that as a backup strategy, more so, or have a backup strategy in your deck like the spellcasters. So overall, that was just a quick look at the 3 decks and Legendary decks too. Overall, they're all a lot more solid than the 3 in Legendary and the Yugi's deck collection, especially compared to the Duelist Kingdom deck that was... you had Dark Magician Girl, you had Dark Magician, you had Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, and you had Exodia. And I think most of the rest of the deck was less than good, let's say. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. You know the routine. Thank you.